phenomenal. I mean, being here in the first place last year was always a dream come true. So for the journey to continue and us to continue to chop wood together is it's a blessing.
In the NFL, how tough was it last year? Suffering that injury and watching your team go on without you.
Yeah, it was a completely different perspective. Being on IR in the NFL is even more different than college, I would say. So just a matter of staying focused, staying locked in, and myself going into what was a free agent offseason, had a lot of things to consider and just like pray about. But it was a blessing in disguise over time. Got a lot of things together when it comes to myself personally and just what I want long term when it comes to this game. And so to have another opportunity, I'm just super happy to be here.
What has Minka brought to the safety room?
Man, I think first just his humility and how he works. He's like constantly trying to find his edge, and so it rubs off on me the right way because there's times where we all have different things we pursue in terms of an edge. I think for him is like we're gonna bang it out in the film room a lot, and then he's always just trying to just use every second wisely in the building. So it's been great to continue to work with him on that page.
You guys obviously want to win every year. You come into camp excited, all that stuff. But guys have talked about it feels different this year. I know you're only here last year, but does it feel different than when you first got here last year?
Yeah, I think we're building upon the things that have been talked about. I think the NFL, the challenge is to go from talking to doing, and you wanted to show up in the win column more often than not. So for us, not showing up in the win column was a little challenging last year. However, I think now in this training camp, in this offseason phase, it's been really easy to see that wins are going to stack up if we keep doing right. So, yeah.
Is training camp different for a married man?
Training camp is much better as a married man, I would say. Come home to cook meals and love and not hard coaching, But it has been a great blessing.
Do you like the way you guys have been setting the tone with the takeaways early in practice the last couple of days? I think he had a final recovery on one of those first few team reps. Can take you through that play and also you guys following through on that?
Yeah, man, I think, takeaways are always going to be talked about in the NFL. It's like everyone knows the key to success, get takeaways is just eliminate so many things. However, obviously coming off the year we had last year, it's a little bit more emphasized. And I think we have so many guys that have a history of taking the ball away that is so natural. So it's beautiful to see, the guys that have a knack for making plays on the field right now. And man, I think it's going to continue to stack up nicely for us. Yeah.
Feels great. It's a long road, of course. About 11 months since I last strapped the pads up, and felt great. And I had to get those first few duds out the way, and I was right back. Feeling like myself. So it's been good.
For a big back such as yourself, what was it like getting the pads on yesterday?
It's great. That's kind of where my game comes to life. Obviously, like you said, being a bigger back, being a physical back. It's like riding a bike essentially. Just downhill and go. That's what my coach preaches to me. And I was just excited to be able to get to do that again.
What's it like waking up as a running back this morning and seeing the Bijan contract?
I didn't see it. Nah. Dang, what, 3 years?
375. So what was it like coming to the press conference and learning about the Bijan contract?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Congrats to him. He's a special back, special talent, well deserved, well earned. So now I'm curious to see what Jameer's will look like, because those guys are different playmakers.
When something like that happens, does it kind of trickle down to everybody? We feel like in the respective position.
I'm worried about what I got to do right now. If I do that, that day will come, and God willing, it will. So just focus on what I got to do now.
What's your weight now? You had talked in the spring about how you naturally got up to 250. Have you stayed at 250? What is the weight you're looking to play at?
I like to be around 240 for my playing weight. So we're getting close. I came into camp a little heavier, of course, because naturally I dropped throughout camp. So I'm in a good spot right now. So about like 244, 245.
What's it been like running behind that O-line? Pretty unique that 4 or 5 starters are back this year. I'm sure you can kind of feel that chemistry.
Yeah, it's great. Those dudes are dogs. They're violent. They're physical. They're smart. They get the job done, play in and play out. So I'm definitely excited to get a full year behind those guys for sure.
What are your early impressions on just seeing David Bailey and just playing against him?
Yeah, he's got one speed, man, and he's always on go. You know, he was second overall for a reason. You know, he's got a motor, and I'm definitely excited to see him in action more and see him develop and grow. But it's been great. All the rookies have looked great so far.
Going back to the offensive line, how have you viewed Olo and Member's relationship on and off the field and how close they are?
You know, I can't speak too closely on their relationship per se, but I know I love both those guys. And I'm sure the whole line has a great relationship. You kind of have to, you know, they kind of got to work as one, you know, in a sense. So each of them got to trust each other, and that comes with building a relationship. So great dudes, funny as heck. So everybody on the line, I love.
Braelon, how big of a year is this for you, especially considering what happened last year?
Say again?
How big of a year is this for you, considering what happened last year?
This is huge. This is huge. I mean, obviously, with last year being cut short for me, right when I felt like I was kind of getting a groove and, you know, kind of getting my feet under me, it definitely sucks. So, you know, this year is, you know, I don't want to think about too much about, you know, personal goals or anything like that, but just trying to establish myself and earn respect, you know, from my teammates and around the league, prove myself as a workhorse back.
Major injury like that?
No, this is my first one.
What was that like? Just having to watch and sit for so long?
Yeah, it hurt for sure. It sucked, and just the fact I couldn't be out there, and honestly, wasn't really around the team as a whole very often. So it was hard. You know, it was first time, like I said, ever being away like that, and then obviously seeing us struggle throughout the year. Man, it's tough, definitely.
Approach practice as a big physical back, 240, 250, when you're supposed to kind of protect teammates and nobody gets taken to the ground. So what's your mindset about playing your style of game but also protecting teammates?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's there's a balance for sure that you kind of got to find because obviously, like you said, trying to protect each other, and I kind of look at it in the way is in the game. What's the DB going to try to do to me? They're going to try to take my legs out. Obviously, they're not doing that in practice. In a game, I'll try to run this guy over, so I'm not going to do that to him because they're not trying to tackle me the same way that they would in a game. So it's like, you know, how do I practice my style of running with protecting them? And I think that's just kind of honestly branching off and trying to work on different parts of my game, and you know, trying to make people miss in practice and maybe throw a stiff arm here and there. That's not like super violent, but I'm still getting the work in. So yeah, it's definitely a balance. Obviously, my coach wants to see me like do what I do. That way, he can coach it up in the film room. But you know, like I said, you know, I can't be as physical as I would as I would in a game. So.
Take 4.
You had a nice blitz pickup today. How much progress have you made as a blocker since you arrived in the NFL until now?
I feel like I've always kind of had a natural knack for pass protection. So I guess in the league it's less about. In college, I was taught a lot of technique, and that kind of goes through your minds when you're picking up blitzes. And when I got to the league, it was like technique's kind of out the window. Like I just got to stop this guy. It's more of a mindset. So that's kind of probably the biggest stride I've made is just like forget the technique. Obviously, there's some involved. You got to punch. You got to do this and that. But honestly, just don't let him touch the quarterback.
How do you approach? You mentioned this is a big year for you, looking to establish yourself. Have you approached this season knowing? There's pressure with that, knowing, you know, barely playing only playing 4 games last year. You're looking to establish yourself in your third year. How do you kind of approach the stakes for yourself?
I mean, my approach started in October. You know, once I got off that operation table and got to work on the rehab, I knew exactly what I needed to do. I know exactly what this year has to look like for me. And, you know, like I said, it's been a process. It's been ongoing for, you know, 11, 10 months now. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
What is that?
I'm not really gonna say too much on that. It's just I gotta do my part, do what's asked of me. I'm ready to do so.